Hello, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you've had lots of coffee. I have, as you can tell. Well, we've had lots of talks about AI yesterday, and of course we will have more today. But I thought we'll take a little look at how it's making search and customer experiences more intelligent. Now, for the longest time, we've turned to a higher power, an artificial intelligence, a robot, to solve some of our biggest challenges, whether it was fighting intergalactic battles, whether it was overcoming loneliness, or whether it was really training the machines to go fight the other machines to help save humanity. Whatever issue was, the AI was right there to help us. And it's not just in fiction, right? We see this happening in reality. If we think of our lives all around us, we are surrounded by this technology, from our cars to our phones to our smart speakers to our fireplaces. Oh my gosh, everything around us is smart. It's connected to the internet. It can think. AI is everywhere. But it also provides us marketers a little bit of a challenge, because as consumers, we're constantly bombarded with different messages, and things are fighting for our attention all the time. Our attention spans are dwindling. We know this. So when the scarcest resource is human attention, how can marketing help cut in? How can it help fit in and win the hearts and minds of our audience? Well, that's where AI can help. So it caused the problem. It can also solve the problem. Let's look at a few ways that AI is becoming more human-like, and then how, in those ways, it can help us marketers do better for our audiences. Today, I'm going to look at how AI can see things as a human would, how it can talk and understand as a human would, and how it can reason over vast amounts of data, again, just like a human would. Let's start with the first one, which is speech and language. Now, of course, when I bring up speech and language and AI, what's the first thing we all think of? Voice search, I heard it. Exactly. And yes, voice search is really popular, because sometimes we just can't use our hands, or we don't want to. And I think iProspect more than anyone. You guys know all about this. You're doing really well. You've literally written papers about it, with some help from Bing. So today, I won't go more in depth about voice search, because you got that down already. You're doing a fabulous job. What I want to talk about is the other areas where conversational interfaces can have a really huge part. But first, actually, let me quickly ask you guys, how many of you do use a personal assistant on a semi-regular basis? A lot of us, right? This is not a surprising number. May I ask one or two of you to just simply shout out, what are some of the things you use it for?
Setting reminders.
Setting reminders. What else? I heard something else. But
Weather.
weather, exactly. What's the weather? Anything else? Turn off the lights. Do you notice the common thread in all of them? It's all single command queries, pretty much. It's do this, and it's done. And we do still see that with voice search today. We did a study at Bing where we studied people across North America to see how they were using this technology. And unsurprisingly, it's exactly how you would use it. Searching for a quick fact. How long do I need to boil my egg for it to be soft-boiled, for example. The things that require more back and forth are done by chatbots, actually, or digital assistants. And there's two reasons for this. The first one is us. We're going from this typing-only world to a voice-dominated world. But we're not quite there yet. We're still training ourselves to be more and more comfortable with it. I mean, would you use voice search in the office in front of a lot of people? Probably not. It's still something that you use in certain occasions. But we can be easily trained. And I always tell people, we're like, oh, you know, I don't think I would ever use voice that often or for anything like making an appointment. I'm like, well, let me show you how easily we are trained. For example, before we got cameras in our cell phones, how often did we take photographs in a year? Barely ever, right? Birthdays, holidays, maybe a vacation. It was not that often. And now, it's like selfies everywhere. And sadly, my selfie game is still really terrible. So. But we are trainable. And the other reason is also the technology. It's still catching up. We have reached amazing milestones in terms of accuracy, but there's still a 4-ish% error rate, which can be frustrating. We want the technology to be friction-free before we adopt it. So what's in the middle of voice, mainly voice, or typing only? It's conversational that still sounds like voice, but is typed, which is, again, bots. At Microsoft, we wanted to see, like, are people going to be willing to engage with bots to achieve some of the work that we want to get done? And it's really common across all of China and different parts of Asia. Chatbots are really, really big there. There is a company called Xiaowai, which is actually not related to any Microsoft product or to Xiaoice, our assistant. They founded in 2004 using the MSN Messenger platform. In 2009, they had their first big chatbot success with Jiangsu Mobile, where they worked with their customer service team to save over $300,000. I mean, bots have been big there since 2009. Now they handle about 99.8% of all of the banks and all of their customer service, which has volumes of over 41 million queries a month. So that's a lot. So seeing how that market was already primed and ready for a bot experience, at Microsoft, we created Xiaoice in late 2014. She was designed to be your friend, but also be really smart. So she was very high in IQ and EQ. Now, most of you have heard of Xiaoice. OK, a few. I will take 60 seconds to explain it for those who are not, if that's OK. So because Xiaoice was supposed to be really high in EQ, she'd try to understand you and talk to you in a way that humans talk to each other. So if you had trouble sleeping, she'd count sheep for you. If you had a bad day at work, she'd commiserate. If you broke up with your boyfriend, she'd put you on a 32-day breakup recovery plan. Yeah, very quickly, she won over the hearts and minds of the population. She has, right now, over 100 million active users. And what we saw last year was that 1 in 4 of her users have told her, I love you. Now, I don't know when was the last time you guys ever told your AI that you loved it, but it's getting quite popular there. Now, she wasn't just there to be your friend. Yes, it's fun and games. People enjoy talking to her. She's a great sort of friend. But she can do things for you. JD.com, which is a really large e-commerce company in China, wanted to capitalize on the popularity of Xiaoice. They said, well, what if she could help be a shopping buddy to people on our website? So then if people came to their site and they were browsing around, they could have conversations with Xiaoice and she could guide them. So for example, let's say I am on the website and I found this perfect digital camera for myself. And I love it. It's got the pixel quality. It's waterproof. It's all these great features that I want. But it's really expensive. Now, if I went to a shop here, they would try to convince me to buy it, right? They'd say, oh, we throw in this extended warranty. We'll do this. We'll put you on a payment plan. Like, why don't you buy it? Not Xiaoice. She used empathy. So what she said was like, oh, yeah, this is such a great camera, and I agree with you. It would be so much better if it was on sale. But hey, how about this other model of camera instead? It's got some of the features that you want, but it's also several $100s cheaper. That was friendly. That was a great experience. And as a result, people trusted her and wanted to buy. And when JD.com reported the results to us, I think it surprised everyone, because they found that the Xiaoice marketing channel was significantly more profitable than any of their other channel. Now, we've launched Xiaoice's version in different countries. For example, we have Ru in India, we've got Rina in Japan and Indonesia, and we have Zoe here in the US. And people are engaging with her. They're having conversations with her. You can even play Exploding Kittens with Zoe here via Facebook Messenger, if you like. But maybe what's more suited for us and for our market is the traditional chatbot. Now, I want to show you how a chatbot can help make your customer experience when engaging with your brand significantly better. And for this, I'm going to give you the example of my colleague, Alan. So my colleague, Alan, is super brilliant, but he has one flaw. He hates to shop. I'm like, really? I don't know if I can trust you. But yeah. But Alan doesn't like to shop for clothes. So let's say he wants to interact with this counter clothing store, and he needs to buy a pair of shoes because his wife has been like, please get a nice pair of shoes to match and don't wear these terrible things again. So what's he going to do? He's going to go to their chatbot to try to see if he can find something. So they'll say, welcome back, Alan. What do you want to do? He's like, I want to shop shoes. So he's going to browse around, try to poke around a little bit. But then there's that feeling of getting overwhelmed by choice. Now, Alan's like, I just don't want to look at a million pairs of shoes. Why? But what he wants to do is just find something that will match the shirt that he needs to wear. He can upload a photo. And the bot can be like, hey, how about these shoes? But Alan's not a formal guy. He likes things more casual. He'll say, how about something a little bit more casual? The bot will come back and show him something else. And then I'll ask him what he wants to do. It's giving him the most popular choices, like, do you want to keep looking, or do you like these? He likes these. It'll ask him how he wants to pay, and he'll pick up in store. How much easier is that than the traditional experience of having to walk to the store and find exactly what you're looking for and trying to guess if it matches or not? It saves so much time, and it can win the loyalty and mind of Alan if he can have an experience that actually is tailored to his needs. And that's what bots can do. They can have a conversation with you on a one-to-one basis, but at scale. But it feels very relevant to you. It feels very personalized. And this is a gift that marketers have never had before. It's one-to-one at the scale of what we can do with like billboard advertising, reach thousands of people. And the bot, once you build it, you can then embed it across multiple platforms and extend your reach as much as possible. Of course, you want to start with where your audience is. So for example, if I knew that my audience tends to be very heavy on Slack, I can make sure that my bot is on Slack first. And it's tailored to fit into the type of conversations people have on Slack. But then I could also have it on Bing search. I mean, bots are going to be everywhere, so it makes no surprise if we look at some of the numbers and the stats around it. If you had to guess who were the most avid users of chatbots right now, who would you guess? What demographic? Millennials. Not surprising. It's very common. It's very natural for them. So according to Forbes, 60% of millennials have used chatbots. Over 70% of them have reported really favorable experiences with them. If you think about why, it's instant gratification. I have a question. I don't need to email and wait for a response to get my answer. I get it when I want it, any time of day or night. It's also new technology that we're familiar with. We don't have to learn how to navigate a new system. If you get a new app, for example, on your phone, you have to figure out how to use the app. You don't have to. If I use Facebook Messenger, hi, Jason. If I'm using Skype, I don't know how to use it. I can still interact with these different systems because they're familiar to me. But the biggest advantage to why people want to use them is just how much time they save. Juniper Research did a study of the banking and financial verticals, and they found that compared to a telephone conversation, a chatbot saves over 4 minutes per transaction. I would love to get 4 minutes of my life back where I don't have to spend time waiting on hold or engaging with somebody or going on and on about my issues. It's fantastic. From the business standpoint, there's money there. In that same study, they found that that could save people over $8 billion by 2022, just in these two verticals. So there's a lot more savings if you add in some of the other verticals. And the reason that they are, again, super useful is all goes back to the customer. Why are we doing what we do? To better engage and connect with our audience. So I wanted to show you an example of what some experiences could look like with bots embedded in there. Now, your regular search, local search, most of you have seen this. Where Bing announced we've embedded chatbots right in the SERPs. So if I had a question about the restaurant, for example, do you take American Express? I don't need to go to their website, look around, or call them. I can hit chat, ask them the question right there. We've also launched the PPC Chatbot extension, which is very similar. You can hit chat with us, and the little screen, the Skype window will open right there, and you can have a conversation. By the way, iProspect, my loves, I want to give you a massive congratulations because you have had the most adoption of any agency into this pilot that we are having, and with really great results. So I would say, round of applause. So well done. Now let's look at how remarketing can be even more effective with a chatbot. Remarketing, we've seen it. It's a good channel. It works because you're reaching people who've known you before. But what if we could make it seem more friendly and less salesy? Let's have a look. Now, let's say I buy lipsticks a lot from Estee Lauder because they have really great lipsticks. So I would have engaged with the chatbot before. If I engage with it once, it is possible for the bot to go and ping me back in return. And the bot can connect to my account, so it can see all my history and how I like to shop. So let's take an example of what it could look like, the experience. Estee Lauder could be like, hi, Purna. We have a brand new collection of our Pure Color Love lipsticks. Would you like a sneak peek? What do you think my answer is going to be? Sure, of course. Like, yes, please. Estee Lauder also knows that Purna tends to shop on sale a lot because she's cheap, but they wouldn't say that. They're too nice now. So all they could be like was like, OK, great, Purna. I'll email pics to you of this new lipstick collection. And by the way, you can save 15% in the next 24 hours on your order if you use the code ILOVEIP. What am I going to do? Thank you. Buy all the lipsticks. I mean, the answer is obvious. This doesn't feel like a hard sell. It feels like they're helping me. They're trying to tell me about something that I might like. They're giving me something that's appealing to my ego. It's like a sneak peek at something that maybe not everyone can see. It's changed the conversation from buy now, to hey, what do you need right now? How can I help you? How can we engage in conversation? This is so much more effective. So it's really not surprising if we look at Gartner's prediction, where they say that by 2020, we'll have more conversations with our bots than with our spouses. My husband cannot wait for this day. Please calm down. So let's recap about bots and conversation. Like, try to think about conversation not just for search, but for actual other stages in the funnel as well. Try to use it for loyalty. Try to use it for engagement. And don't put all your eggs in the voice search basket. Look at bots. Look at skills with assistants. And if you want to come build a bot, we're having a little bot building station today at noon. If you know where it is when you walk right in, you can't miss the little Microsoft station. And our generous team is giving away a raffle for a really cool Harman Kardon Invoke, which is our smart speaker that's, Harman Kardon. It's amazing quality. So definitely come, don't miss that. Let's look at knowledge. And this is actually one of the most fascinating things for me. Because what we're seeing happening is that AI and its sort of machine learning abilities is giving search so much more power than it ever had before. And this is not exclusive to any one search engine. This is to any search engine. What it can do is it's giving us the power to not just index the different pages on the web, but with things like machine reading comprehension and natural language understanding, it can now understand the context and reason over the internet. Isn't that cool? It's not just indexing, it's reasoning. And when you have the power to reason over all of the data, you can start to understand not just the entities, but the relationships between the entities, what people like, what they tend to click on. It gets a much more personalized graph that it can give to marketers. And for us, search then becomes more than just simply a marketing channel. It becomes a sort of centerpiece for consumer engagement. Because we can really finally get the true keys to reach people at the right time and the right place in the way that they want to be reached, right? It's not just the golden rule, it's the platinum rule. Let's look at an example of just how it could work. If we look at, for example, just the Microsoft graph, we have world knowledge from things like Cortana, and Bing will know what's trending, what people are asking. It's just the overall landscape. We'll know your work knowledge. Again, no personally identifiable information. It's just sort of overall trends that, OK, on LinkedIn, we know that you have this sort of job, you work in this industry. And then we also have people knowledge based on how you interact with your own sort of Windows platform. So if you take all of these and layer them together, you can really engage with people far more effectively than you could. You can literally trim the fat, get rid of the excess. Don't annoy people with those irrelevant ads, because I don't think there's a single person who will be like, I love looking at irrelevant banner ads. Said nobody ever. So if we can use this, we can see it work. And we see this already with different audience marketing. You've seen the results. Now, both Google and Bing we both have in-market audiences, for example, where you can reach people who are in the market or looking to buy something. So, for example, if they were looking to buy home insurance, then you could reach out to people who are in the market to buy home insurance if you sold that. And it tends to work really well. In fact, I got our latest numbers from Bing, and we found that serving ads to people in in-market audiences has a 48% lift in conversion rate than serving ads to regular audiences. That's huge. And it doesn't stop there. Again, we've seen Facebook really pioneer this with the sort of custom audiences and reaching out to people. It just simply works. You're just getting more focused. And it doesn't have to stop there. In fact, earlier this month, we announced audience ads where you can actually serve these sort of native ads across platforms like Outlook and MSN and Edge at different stages in the customer funnel. So if you knew they were getting more interested, then you could serve a different ad. Again, it's just going from buy now, to what do you need? How can I serve you? How can I give you the right answer at the right time? And that's what's going to win the hearts and minds of people. So remember, try to take advantage of what the knowledge and the understanding of people and data that now all the search engines can really bring, and you can use that to help make loyal fans and reach new audiences. OK, so the last one is vision. And this is actually one of my favorites, because I can see so much potential here. What is vision? What is like visual intelligence? It's helping the machine look at something and understand it the way that a human would. And it sounds easier than it thinks, but let's say I was looking really grumpy and I took a photo. Just a human would tell that, OK, Purna looks really grumpy. Obviously, she needs coffee. But what would the machine, how would it interpret my expression? Like, it wouldn't be that easy in the beginning unless we've trained it. So we started training it. We used tools like, hey, howold.net, which is a website that if you upload your photo, it will guess how old you are. It thought I was 27, so obviously this is the best website ever. You can try it yourself as well at our intelligent kiosk at our booth, so you can test it out. And these things are fun, or not, depending on the answer it gives you. But what it really does is it trains the AI to sort of understand, because it gets instant feedback. Like if it says 27, I'm like, yes, of course, you're right. Fabulous. But you're getting instant feedback, and it helps it practice and learn and grow. And in that sense, understanding this visual can make search a lot more powerful. Let's look at one example. Let's say I needed to go to a hardware store, and I need to buy that tool. The issue is, I don't know what it's called. How many of you know what it's called? Not that many. OK, good. I don't feel that alone then. How would I walk in? So I'm walking into like Home Depot or Lowe's. And I'm like, yeah, I need that tool that looks like this. They're going to be like, let's escort the lunatic outside the building. But I wouldn't know what it's called. So how do I even search for it? If I don't have the words to describe it, how do I search for it? That's where visual search comes in. I can upload a picture, and it helps me not just be convenient, but find things when I don't have the words to describe them. And both Google and Bing let you search for your images. It's great. But Bing takes it one step further, that Google does not do this. I should repeat, Google does not do this. So I want to show you a little quick video that shows how Bing not only helps you search by images, but it helps you search within an image, so you can isolate certain parts of an image and search. And if you tend to be in retail or like home decor, you can actually shop from an image. So have a quick look. That's pretty cool. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you. Thank you. But yeah, I can take no credit for creating that, but I'll take your applause. Now, for my fellow search nerds in the room, you're like, is that a paid ad? No, it's not. It's actually organic. So the same work that you're doing to optimize your shopping feed, that's where it's pulling from. It's pulling information from your feed. So there's a lot of things in this new world that you don't have to do anything differently. You're already doing some of the things that will help you win in this world. For example, if you're optimizing your shopping feed, or you're looking at sort of schema and structured data, that will of course help you with sort of the visual and the voice search as well. So it's not a whole bunch of new things. Another quick thing about, I want to point out how visual all the different search results are getting. And I see this across all search engines, where if you see that there's your little shopping ads, then there's a little image block, and then there's your regular text ads. We've already seen results that if you have a paid ad and an organic listing, you get more overall clicks. We've already seen research that says if you have a text ad and a shopping ad, you get more clicks. So can you imagine if you had your image show up in the image block, you had the organic listing, the text ad, and the shopping ad, you'd dominate the SERPs. You'd get far more clicks. So there's lots more advantages to doing this as well. And the common question will be like, yeah, but Purna, how many people will search from an image? Well, they will. Remember how trainable I said we are? We will be able to search by image because we can do this in a million places around us. I can go to a shop and I can try on clothes. Like I said, if you use social media, then hey, Pinterest. You can do shop the look on Pinterest. If you use Snapchat, you can snap to buy. There's all of these different avenues in your life. Or if I'm looking at different cars, I can now just point at my phone at the car. It'll give me more information about it through different apps. Realtor.com has it in their app. I can point my camera at a house through the app, and it will give me information about it. It's all around us. So it helps people discover you better and engage with you and have a much more smooth shopping experience. But there's one more place that visual intelligence can really help. And again, this is not a Microsoft product, but I still wanted to show you and talk to you about it. And that's visual listening. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, you guys are all familiar with social listening, right? It's where you can go in and you can look at who's talking about your brand. So like Tracy Ellis Ross was talking about Michael Kors. Jason Momoa was talking about Billabong. And by the way, achievement unlock. I have a legitimate reason to have a picture of my celebrity crush, Jason Momoa, in the stack. But great achievement. Mom will be proud. But what I'm talking about is visual listening, which is a sort of slight deviation on social listening. Did you know that people upload over 3.2 billion images every single day? And what if the image is uploaded, but they don't tag your brand? So for example, in this Michael Kors example, Tracy Ellis Ross, she tagged Michael Kors. But there were other listings from like the Met and other press that had her photo, but they didn't say anything about Michael Kors. How would you know that there were mentions about your brand if you couldn't do a text search for them? And that's where visual listening really comes in. It can help tag your logo, in fact, or different key images that you want, and you can have it find things. Now, there was a study by BrandWatch that found that 80% of images online that include a brand's logo don't mention the brand. That's crazy. Think about the perfect combination to a hamburger. What do you always, if you buy a burger, what do you drink with it? So Coke, exactly, you say soda. So Coca-Cola, of course, that would be the perfect one. So when Coca-Cola was looking at implementing visual research, their visual listening, they found that they would have missed 200 mentions an hour if they didn't do the visual listening and search for things that included their logo. So it's really big. And why is it important? It's important because you can find, A, how are people talking about you? What's the sentiment? If lots of angry people are talking about this brand is now terrible, we should boycott this brand, you want to know about it as soon as possible. And the quickest way, photos. Or if somebody is misusing your logo in a way that they shouldn't, there was a popular brand whose logo was now changed to a marijuana leaf, and then that's probably not a good use of their brand logo that they wouldn't want. Or if you know celebrities or big influencers and endorsers are talking about your brand, you want to be able to share that and tweet that and take advantage of it. So there's lots of different ways that visual listening can help protect your brand. So again, visual intelligence, awesome to help you get discovered, also awesome to help you protect your brand. So let's recap. So lots of stuff I talked to you about this morning. What should every business think about doing? First thing, unlock the data and the APIs that you can within search. So look at what does search know, what are different audiences, and you can use that to extend your reach brand new audiences. I mean, remarketing is great because people who've been to your website come back. But what if you wanted to reach somebody who was interested in your product but didn't know about your brand? Again, audience marketing, great for that. You can reach people interested who may not know you. And of course, you can enhance your customer experiences with the visual and the conversational. So I'll leave you with the final thought, which I think is so powerful. If you've watched the commercial with Common, when he talks about it, he says this line that always gives me goosebumps. He says, "We have more power at our fingertips than entire generations that came before us. The question is, what will you do with it?" So with that, I say thank you so much, and I'll see you around.